Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we're going to be going over the 5 reasons you should buy and the 5 reasons you should not buy a Volvo 240. The way these videos work, in case you're new here, is I go over one good thing about the car that I think is a selling point, then I go over one bad thing, one good thing, one bad thing, until we get to 10 total, 5 of each, obviously. And then I give you my final thoughts at the end, just like a quick little, basic little tiny buyer's guide on these cars, if that makes any sense. The next part I'm going to read off my script here, so bear with me, I won't be looking at you guys, but I'll try my best. I scoured the internet to see what all owners were saying and got the common complaints and common praises about the car on forums and things like that here for you guys. However, I have never personally owned one myself, so if you think I got something wrong or would like to add something and you're an owner or a previous owner of these cars, the comments are absolutely public, despite what some people may think. YouTubers, especially myself, don't want to spread misinformation. That's not my goal here. And so if anybody has anything else that they'd like to add to this video, or if I get something wrong, please correct me. I won't take offense to it or anything like that. Either way, media of the day today is Grand Theft Auto 5. Y'all already know what Grand Theft Auto 5 is, man. It's a freaking banger. GTA Online, absolute cinema. I play that game for like a month every year, and then for some reason I get bored of it until the next year and play it for a month again, and I come back to it all the time. If you like cars too, which you probably do obviously because you're on this channel, it's also good for you because there's so many cars in them and you can customize all of them. They just added like a G80 M3. I went on there and saw there was a G80 M3. I nearly pooped. There was nearly poop out of my bung. Okay, good game, absolutely good game. If you like video games at all, play some GTA Online, you'll love it. But without further ado, let's go right into it with the first reason why I think it's good that you should buy a Volvo 240. I'm still trying to figure out how to word that. And reason number 1 why I think you should buy a Volvo 240 is kind of the Volvo 240's whole selling point, at least when it came out. It's safety. Now, obviously, in terms of today's standards, it's not going to be as safe as a modern Volvo. Like, if you buy like a 2025 Volvo, it's obviously not going to be as safe as that. But for its time, this car was miraculously safe. You could got into a fight with Thanos and survived in the Volvo 240. It was extremely safe. Again, today it's a little bit outdated, but because of how safe it was back when it was built, it still to this day holds up relatively well in terms of its safety. Now, obviously, we're car guys, and most of us will take the airbags out of our steering wheel to put a quick release steering wheel on it so we look cool, and when we get into an accident, we bash our face in. And we don't really care too much about safety, at least our own safety. We care about the other people's safeties, obviously. But it's always nice, obviously, to have a car that's safer. Like, it's just a good thing, I feel like, and it's a very good thing with the Volvo 240. However, reason number 1 why I think you should not buy a Volvo 240 is they're not the most comfortable cars out there. Even for their time, a lot of the reviews at the time were that they weren't that comfortable, which makes sense. The Volvo 240 was a commuter car. It wasn't anything special at the time. It wasn't supposed to be some big luxurious S-Class contender or Lexus LS400. Well, that wasn't even out yet, but I don't even know if the S-Class was out yet, actually. You get what I'm saying. It wasn't supposed to be a big, giant land yacht comfortable vehicle, and unfortunately today it shows that as well, especially since, well, actually I was gonna say especially since like modern cars are getting comfier, but that's not true at all. Actually, I sat in my friend, I'm not gonna say his name, but I sat in his Plymouth Belvedere. It was like a 60s Belvedere. Dude, that thing's seats were like couches, and it was a 60s car. I don't understand how we've gotten away from that, but nonetheless, yeah, they're not super comfortable, at least in today's standards, I would say. Reason number 2 why I think you should buy a Volvo 240 is simply the price of them. I have said this before, and I will say it again. These cars just don't appreciate. I don't understand how it's humanly possible. Every other car that gets praised like the Volvo 240 does eventually goes up in price at least a little bit. Like cars like cars that are similar to the Volvo 240, in my opinion, are cars like the BMW E36, the Ford Crown Victoria, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like another rear wheel, LS400, cars that are like praised by the car community for just being really reliable but fun rear wheel drive like sedans that are kind of unassuming. That's the Volvo 240. That's exactly what it is, and it gets the same praise as those other cars do. But unlike the E36, unlike the LS400, unlike the Crown Vic, these cars are still like $3,000. Like, they're still like dirt cheap. Now, they're definitely a little bit more expensive than they used to be. I mean, you used to be able to find Volvo 240s for like $700 and have 2 miles on it and be in perfect condition. But it's still extremely affordable cars. It's really Really good thing. I think the reason why, if I had to guess, is actually the next reason why I think you should not buy a Volvo 240. And yeah, that reason is the looks. I think this is specifically the reason why a lot of people don't buy Volvo 240s, because again, everything else on paper is great about these cars. They are just great, especially for a car guy. They don't have the most horsepower, but they are relatively good cars. I just think that the majority of car guys look at these cars and get a little bored of them. It's the same thing with the Crown Victoria. They're not the best thing to look at. They're just kind of sedans, which is probably the reason why people don't like them too much and the reason why they don't fly up in price or whatever. But if you like the looks of them, then this is not a bad thing at all for you. I just think the majority of people probably won't like the looks of them. I have seen personally a lot of Volvo 240s that are modified, obviously, that look incredible. But it definitely is going to take a little bit of work to do that. And you have to have a certain taste in order to make a Volvo 240 look good. And I feel like not everybody has that taste, especially not in the car community. A lot of guys, they like to make their cars look aggressive, but the Volvo 240 needs the opposite of that. It needs to be like somber, if that makes any sense. However, reason number 3 why I think you should buy a Volvo 240 is simply put the reliability of them. Yeah, they're still extremely reliable. Now, obviously, due to the fact that they are an older car, they were built in the 80s, they are obviously going to have some like electrical issues, or the seals on the windows might be leaking, or the plastics in the interior might be cracked, or blah blah blah, things like that. The rubber might be cracked as well. There's a couple of things that just happen with age, obviously, and since these cars are old, there's no denying that those might be problems with it. But the reliability of things like the motor, the transmission, the differential, those the actual like heart and soul of the car is going to be fine. Another thing is rust, by the way. Obviously, keep in mind rust. These cars are old again, and yeah. But again, all the mechanics of the car will most likely be 100% fine and will last you for hundreds of thousands of miles. As a matter of fact, if you go on Facebook Marketplace right now and look for Volvo 240s, you can find some with 350,000 miles running perfectly fine, and they're selling them for like 2 or 3 grand because they're worth that. They are reliable as hell cars. But reason number 3 why I think you should not buy a Volvo 240, we kind of teased about this a little bit earlier when talking about the looks, but it's the performance. There's no denying the fact that Volvo 240s are fun. They have a manual transmission, they're a rear-wheel drive. That's pretty much all you need in 2025 to have fun. And they are relatively lightweight cars as well, especially for their size. Like, they look like they'd be a lot heavier than they actually are. But at the end of the day, they're not. These cars are going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be a lot of fun, but the performance of them is questionable, to say the least, and it's mainly just due to the horsepower numbers out of the gate. Well, not even out of the gate either. It's really not that easy to make power out of these motors either. You pretty much have to swap the motor if you want to make any serious power. Out of the gate, they make like 114 horsepower. This is obviously assuming you're getting the non-turbo one, and at that point, it's just, I mean, 114 horsepower. I mean, yeah, it's a lightweight car, it's rear-wheel drive, but even the Miata has more than that, man. I mean, come on. Reason number 4 why I think you should 100% not even question it anymore and just go on Facebook Marketplace right now and buy it immediately, you absolute buffoon, is because they're rear wheel drive. We talked about this earlier with the performance literally like 2 seconds ago, but yeah, I've come to the point in my life where I realized I like rear wheel drive cars. That's all there is to it, man. I like them. It's my personal style, and I think a lot of people are in that same boat as me, especially in the car community. Anything that's rear-wheel drive makes me just happy to see. That's all there is to it. If it's rear-wheel drive, I'm happy. And now that doesn't mean I don't like front-wheel drive cars. I have an Integra, and I like my Integra. It doesn't mean I don't like all-wheel drive cars. I like WXs. I like Evos. Okay, there are plenty of GTRs. Like, come on. GTRs are freaking sick cars. But I love me some rear-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive is just super cool, and these cars are rear-wheel drive. Again, the performance of them means that they're not going to be like a super fast rear-wheel drive car, but they're still going to be fun because they're rear-wheel drive. Anything that's rear-wheel drive, it doesn't matter if it has 2 horsepower, it's fun. Reason number 4 why I don't think you should buy a Volvo 240. We're really starting to like pick for scraps here because we kind of already mentioned this and we're kind of using it again almost. Rust, and the fact that most of them are probably going to be higher mileage. It's very hard to find these cars low miles, and the reason why is because, again, they really, at the end of the day, they aren't anything super crazy and special. So everybody that ever bought a Volvo 240, or everybody that does buy a Volvo 240, drives them. They use them as like dailies and stuff like that. And so they don't really care about the rust. They don't care about how high the miles go. And so it's very hard for you to find one that's low mileage, no rust, and stuff like that. Now, most likely, if you're watching this video, you're not planning on doing that anyways. You just want a beater. You know what I mean? You want a rear-wheel drive, fun beater for dirt cheap, and it'll absolutely scratch that itch. But just keep in mind that the rust and the mileage might be a little bit higher than you would want it to be. However, reason number 5 why the final reason why I think you should buy a Volvo 240 is they're, in my opinion, but I'm not an expert here, I think that they're probably going to rise in price soon. Now, I will be honest, I'll be brutally honest. I also said this, I think like 3 or 4 years ago when I like first started my YouTube channel. Whenever I would talk about the Volvo 240, I would say things like, they're probably going to rise in price soon. People are talking about them a lot. Get your hands on one now before they're unaffordable. And they still haven't done that. So maybe it's just going to stay at the price that they're at for the rest of their lives. But I don't think so. I think it's got to happen sooner or later, especially since cars nowadays are running away from the whole manual rear-wheel drive package, which is what car guys want, and this car still has it. And there's still so many people talking about Volvo 240s and how good of a car they are. I do think they're going to rise in price eventually, at least a little bit. And so they might be at least somewhat of a good investment, if that makes any sense. Not like the best investment, not like you're buying a McLaren F1 and holding on to it for 2 years and selling it for double the price you bought it for. But you can make some good money on this if that's what you're looking for. And you could also, this is also one of those very rare instances too, where it's like you can make money on the car while also driving it. Like, in order to make money on something like an S chassis, it has to be in really good condition. So you don't want to drive it, you don't want to beat on it, right? Because it's got to be in good condition. There's very low amounts of those left. Well, there's a ton of Volvo 240s out there, and most of them are in the same exact condition. So you buy your Volvo 240, drive it for a year, sell it the next year, and make money on it. It's actually not a bad idea. But reason number 5 why I think you should not buy a Volvo 240, and the final reason why I think you should not buy a Volvo 240. And again, we're starting to grasp for straws here, because this is already something we mentioned earlier again. But it's any of the electrical issues just due to age. Yeah, we talked about this when talking about the reliability of the car. I said the overall reliability of the car is really good, but things that come with age are going to be obviously a little bit bad, since these cars were built in the 80s, and it's the same thing here. Okay, that's the last one. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else. All right, there's nothing else that I could find that's bad about Volvo 240s. They have plenty of space. It's something that's another good thing about them, by the way. They're not like, they get you the right kind of attention. You know how like every car guy wants a little bit of attention for having a cool car. Let's not kid ourselves. We all want that, but we don't want so much attention. This is part of the reason why I don't really care for supercars that much, because I would hate to drive to every single gas station, and every single time there's 15 dudes out there wanting to take pictures of my car, asking me about how much money I make and blah, 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 all that stuff. I would hate that. That's the wrong kind of attention, in my opinion. But a Volvo 240, a car guy's going to walk up to you every once in a while and be like, hey man, I like your car. And you're going to be like, thanks man. And be like, it's going to be a really happy, good interaction. Actually, that's one of my reasons why I love my Integra. Every time somebody compliments my Integra, I know it's because they're a car guy and they like cars. And I'm like, that's a good guy. I like that guy. Cool guy. You know, I'm not worried about getting robbed. I'm not worried about, well, I should be because it's an Integra, but I'm not worried about freaking having to explain myself to 50 different people. As a matter of fact, that happened to me one time with my 350Z. I was at a gas station and this older guy thought it was like something special. I don't know why, but he did. He thought it was worth $70-something thousand. And it was weird. It was an awkward interaction and I did not like it. And I would not like to have that interaction happen every single time I went out. But I still do like getting attention, obviously, because again, we're human beings. And it's nice to get it from people that you know actually appreciate and understand what it is that you're driving, and the Volvo 240 will give you that kind of attention. I don't even know why I got into like the attention thing there. The reason number 5 why I think you shouldn't buy it was the electrical issues due to age, but I somehow went on a random tangent about attention. If you still watch my videos, man, God bless your soul. You are just a good man. Either way, my final thoughts. Do I think you should buy a Volvo 240? I think this one's tough, because on one hand, a low mileage one is an incredible car, and they will last you for hundreds of thousands of miles and will last you literally your lifetime if you take good care of it. But they're also starting to get very rare to find in lower mileage. However, the high mileage ones I don't think are the best options for the price that they're at right now, just simply due to their age and the fact that they'll probably have a lot of rust on them. Yeah, they could last, the motor will last and the transmission will last, but other things around that won't, and it'll just be kind of a little bit of a nightmare to own it, I feel like. It's a super good car for a car guy looking for a fun little daily driver or a fun little project or just something to beat on in the winter or whatever. It's a good option for you guys, but for like a regular person or even just a car guy that's, again, wanting something that's going to last them for like the rest of their lives, I don't unfortunately, I just don't think it's the best option anymore. It sucks. It really depends though. If you find one that's super low mileage, then yeah, I think it's still a great option. They're still a little old, so you definitely are gonna have to do a little bit more maintenance than you'd want to do on them. But it still would be a good option. But I just think that's so hard to do in 2025 that it really isn't realistic to look at it that way. And so overall, my honest opinion on whether or not I think you should buy a Volvo 240 is probably not. Unless you're going to use it because you want just a beater. That's the only way I think you should buy one. If you're just looking for like a dirt cheap beater that can still be a little bit of fun because you're a car guy that likes to have a little bit of fun, but also wants to get to work and back on time, and you don't mind the fact that they're a little old, so you might have to do a little bit more work than you would on something like a 2010 Camry, then I think they're fine in that aspect. But besides that, I don't think so. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video on the 5 reasons why you should and the 5 reasons why you shouldn't buy a Volvo 240. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos I'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or any of my other YouTube channels or any of that great mumbo jumbo. And I will be leaving a comment down below. It's the pinned comment with my new channel called Giggity Plays, where I'm going to be uploading any sort of live gameplay videos. I've been a gamer for 15 years, but I've always played Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is actually my favorite game of all time. GTA Online, the game of the day today. Battlefield, Fortnite when that was popping, Apex Legends when that was popping, Warzone, all the competitive games. Right now I'm playing a lot of Rocket League. I was 1 game away from platinum for the first time in my entire life in Rocket League. I've been playing it for like 2 months. 1 game away from platinum today, and I lost because I had 370 ping. I was furious. I was so frustrated, guys, I'm not gonna lie. But either way, yeah, I played all these competitive games my entire life. Been a really big competitive gamer, right? And I was like, I'm washed. I'm 25 now, and I'm getting slide canceled in Call of Duty. I'm getting quick peeked in Rainbow Six Siege. I can't keep up anymore. And so I wanted to start trying some of the story games. Another reason why is because a lot of my friends that do play the story games are like, dude, they're so like stress free. So I wanted to try them out, but I've never tried like any of them. So I made a channel, decided I would upload videos of me trying big time story games for the first time of all time. And you want to hear a fun fact about that channel? This is both a sad thing, but also a good thing. It shows how much this channel is dying, but it also shows good, positive uptrend for that channel. Because I uploaded 2 days ago now, or 3 days ago when the time this video goes live, but me playing that game Clear Obscure Expedition 33, which apparently won Game of the Year. So I uploaded myself playing that for 2 hours the other day. It's at like 2,500 views in 2 days. At the time that this video goes live, it might be higher than that. I don't know. It's like doing great. It's doing so good that it's doing better than the majority of the videos on this channel does that has 125,000 subscribers. It's like, bro, it's a blessing and a curse, because at one point it made me be like, yay, let's go, that's awesome. New channel's doing great. That's a good thing to see. But then I thought about it and I was like, oh my god, it's doing better than my channel that I've been doing for 5 years, and my channel is dead. My channel is dead. Time to come to grips with it. My channel's dead. No, but it was like an eye opener. I was like, what the hell? It was just so weird. But either way, that is the end of today's video, guys. Yeah, if you guys are interested in that, it'll be down there. The next video for the like 5 reasons why you should and 5 reasons why you shouldn't is going to be on the FC RX-7. I already wrote out the script for it, but I usually go off recommendations. That one's not a recommendation. I just wanted to talk about the FC RX-7. But if you have a recommendations and a car that you'd like to see me do a 5 reasons why you should and 5 reasons why you shouldn't buy, leave a comment below on this video, and most likely after that video I might get around to it. Depends on obviously if it's a car that makes sense for me to do as a YouTuber for view purposes, or if there's too many comments, obviously, because sometimes there's like 5 of you guys comment a car and I'm just like, can't do all 5 obviously, so I just choose one. But yeah, if you guys are interested, that's the best way of doing it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.